Jordan Gray. He is part of Astro and the Near team.
Cool. All right. Forward, forward, forward. All right. Do I have a laser? No, the laser's not working. That's kind of disappointing, but I'll still go ahead with my talk. Hey, I'm Jordan, and you can also find me online as Starpaws, and I'm here to talk about DAOs, my favorite thing, DAOs all the way down. Before we go too far, I'll do some terminology check, and I imagine that most people here do know what a DAO is, but I still go through this with folks because people who know what DAOs are wind up explaining DAOs a lot, so it's useful to go through it. If we break down the words, decentralized autonomous organizations. Organizations is easy to understand. That can be a foundation, club, business. It could be something around an event. It can be used for crowdfunding. The organization part is easy. When it comes to decentralization, that can be either geography or power, and often it's both. So people from around the world can be working together towards a common cause. And when we talk about the power being decentralized, instead of having like a manager or a boss or somebody in the middle controlling everything, you can put the power in the hands of the people who are running the organization, and that means that they get more value out of what they're putting into the organization. Less middlemen, more power to the people. Autonomous is the spot where most people start getting a little bit nervous because with autonomy, a lot of the decision-making jobs in the world, which is what a lot of people are doing right now, those decision-making jobs are going away. Smart contracts allow us to put rules in place to take care of management tasks and things like that. And that automation means that people don't have to be doing those kinds of tasks anymore, and then they can put more time and energy into things they care about, like creative and things like that. So I think that's the biggest shift and probably the biggest part of like the work revolution that's coming is the fact that so much can be automated. They're also self-governing, so there's that aspect to the automation as well. So on Near, the DAO ecosystem is quite robust. We have tried and true smart contracts. There's developer tools that make it very easy to experiment with these things. There's a lot of different user interfaces depending on how you would want to interact with your DAOs. So you can do it on Commonwealth where there's threaded conversations via a Telegram bot or a Discord bot. And the ecosystem, not just the tooling, but the ecosystem is super vibrant. In the last 10 months, we've paid out over $8 million through DAOs. And that's over 100 monthly active DAOs. So a bunch of people have made DAOs, way more than that. But then the DAOs that are actually active is still like over 100. And we have over 1,000 users who are in those DAOs. And if you divide 8 million by 1,000, I think it's pretty good. So, tooling. The most exciting thing right now is this Sputnik V2 contract. Under the hood, it allows DAOs to do social token launches, publish bounties. The voting is flexible, and it can do anything on the contract, on the blockchain that a single user could do. So, any function call on any contract can be done. Minting NFTs, buying NFTs, selling NFTs, and everything else under the sun. And they're upgradable, so if you are dreaming up something that the DAO can't do, then you can put up a bounty and find somebody to implement it. But all that is pretty techy, so we launched Astro Dao, which is a simple interface for doing all that stuff with your smart contracts, with your DAOs. It's live at Astro Dao, so I encourage everybody to go and check it out. It's usable on your phone, it's usable on a tablet, it's usable at your computer. And to build Astro Dao, we worked with We3, and that's a group of ex-IDEO folks. And we did a lot of user testing, focus groups, and really talked to users. And still, as we have it rolling out into the world, are doing even more of that so that we can see how people are actually using it and make sure that this is actually a user-focused and user-servicing tool. And what are people doing with their DAOs? The main message is that you can meet people, so you can find people that share your values or are interested in building the same things as you. And then you can vote to take collaborative action. That's the other big thing that people are doing with DAOs. And fund your collective goals. So meet, vote, fund on Astro Dao. I'll do a quick run through some of the UI because it's exciting stuff. Here we've got like your ways of meeting people. So you can sort your DAOs by like most active if you're looking to join a vibrant community. You can look who's got the most funds if you want to dip into them. There's also the feed, and the activity feed is something that's really nice just to see everything that's going on in the ecosystem. You can get a check on the pulse, but especially the bounty feed is a great way to find work and see how you can contribute to everything that's going on in the DAO ecosystem on Near. There's voting, and because the voting is so flexible, there's like some details about how the vote has to go for it to pass. Gives you the rules right there. And then another really exciting part is the Treasury. So the Treasury visualizes for a DAO how much Near it has, how much tokens it has, fungible tokens, and it gives you a transaction history of everything that's come in and out. And then it also shows you all of your NFTs that you've collected. One of the kind of controversial things that we did with Astro is to throw an intercom on it, and we were iffy on if this was going to be a good or bad thing because it's a very centralized Web 2 way of getting feedback from users, but we have had a lot of interaction from users on it, so it's been a great thing of having that like human touch right there on the page. And now I want to get to the good stuff, which is what people are actually doing with DAOs. So on Near, some tangible examples. Some of the most exciting stuff is humanitarian causes. Between China, India, and Vietnam, flooding relief and COVID relief, over like $500,000 was raised between these three organizations. Shroom Kingdom is an example of an app or a game that's actually has a DAO to govern itself. So they did an airdrop to all of the users on Near who are above a certain level on Stats Gallery, and then those people also have the opportunity to say how the game is going to go by joining the Shroom Kingdom DAO. Near Week is a really cool use case for the DAOs because it does something where they're paying people out in very small amounts, and that's something that is going to, again, change the way people work and how they get paid out. Through these micro tasks, people are able to get paid on like a task-based basis versus waiting a week or a month to get their payments. And it can also be automated where if you interact with a tweet or you like bring a news story to Near Week, then you can automatically get paid. And then, again, people don't have to be sitting around thinking, do I need to make a decision? Did this person actually do the work? You can actually just oracle it and automatically pay them. KinDAO, there's many creative guilds and DAOs on Near. KinDAO is one of my favorite. They've got a project where they're helping homeless people make NFTs in San Francisco. All the homeless people have cell phones, so like all those people now have another revenue stream where they can like make NFTs, and they publish them through KinDAO. And they're actually touring around the states getting people set up and are going to be stopping at Art Basel Miami at the very end of it next year to show off all of the creative that happened. There's also my favorite creative group, Kodame, which is something I founded 10 plus years ago. This is actually how I got into a lot of the crypto stuff and NFTs and DAOs. Was this organization it's a lot of energy to run an art and tech organization, or just an organization, period. And what becoming a DAO has allowed me and my co-founder to do is do things like automatic sales and splits of tickets, pay people for curation, pay people for doing social media management, being able to commission pixel art, and just like general administrative tasks. And these are all things where like the organization has always run in the black, and we've always like done it basically volunteer-based. But now we have a way of like putting some value against those things and rewarding people, and it's just all happening much more seamlessly than if we had to do like payouts after running a festival. Where like last December there was a festival, and I'm still doing paperwork from it. Okay, I lied. This is my favorite DAO, Near-chan DAO. Near-chan is an anime mascot for Near, and me and two other anime weebs designed Near-chan with an artist, and the idea is that she is a piece of intellectual property that can be used by anybody. She's out under the Creative Commons, so anybody can make Near-chan art, and we did a draw this in your style contest. So if you go downstairs in the NFT gallery, you can get your Nearchan NFTs. And card for card is happening right now in Paras, so you can get some Nearchans for pretty cheap, like 0.01 Near. And the idea with all of these guilds and DAOs is that they become self-sustaining. And this is an example of how it can happen where Nearchan, we can commission artists to draw the character. We can sell the NFTs. We then have more income and can continue to expand our operations and get Nearchan in video games and in Marvel movies and all those other things. And then another super vibrant part of the ecosystem is the fact that there's all these skill-based guilds in the Near DAOs. If you're a builder and you're trying to get something done on Near, you can get legal help, you can get UX help, you can get growth and growth hacking help, dev consulting. Check out Near guilds. There's people doing literally everything, and if you find that they're not doing something, then maybe you can make your own skill guild. So what's exciting right now? Go to market. We just launched Astro Dao last week, and the way that we're rolling it out to the world is first, a lot of hands-on. I was talking about doing the actual user studies, case studies, working with users. So right now, a lot of it is manual, sending people to Open Web Sandbox so that they can understand the ecosystem, being DAO ambassadors, being out in the streets, helping people set up their DAOs, and it's amazing that you can just do this on your phone in the sun, and it totally works. The Near tech is so good. And then half of the people in this picture still have actively running DAOs today. There's Fam Jam and the China Charity DAO, a bunch of folks. And one of the things we're working on right now is taking this DAO ambassador program and making it reproducible, because it is valuable for me and the other core team members to be seeing how people are interacting with Astro DAO, but it doesn't scale. So we're putting the materials together so that people who are excited about turning on communities can go and do that and also get paid for it. And there's the DAOcubator. Speaking of getting paid, the DAOcubator wants to hear what you want to do with your DAO. And we would love to give you some seed funding to get it off the ground and talk with you about your circular economy setups and your revenue streams and figure out how we can make you self-sufficient. So hit up DAOcubator.org and let's talk. There's also a Gen C growth hack going, so if you're a marketing person, we've got an open call for people to bring their marketing ideas to us, and we have a bunch of bounties to get in on that. And then there's the DAO Global Hackathon. If you're more on the tech side, into hacking the smart contracts or getting into the edges where the DAOs are interacting with the real world, doing print on demand and other things like that, the DAO Global Hackathon is worth checking out. And now for the one more thing, Community Choice Awards are happening now. Thank you, Rebecca, and everybody else who's worked so hard to bring this together. The Community Choice Awards start now, and through November 26th, you can go to the DAO at community.astrodao.com and nominate your favorite project out of the Near ecosystem, your favorite people out of the Near ecosystem, and also vote for people that have already been recognized. And when you participate, you could maybe win one of these cool Near Misfit Avatar NFT prizes. And this is the first generative project on Near that is the cryptographically hashed with the entire collection from the start. So this is the genesis. These are the punks on Near. So yeah, you're allowed to clap. Willem clapped a little bit. Okay, people do like NFTs. People do like NFTs. Yes. Okay, so that's it. Thanks so much for listening. Come talk to me afterwards if you want to get your DAO started. I can slip you some Near so that you can boot it up. And yeah, let's go.
Now, they have some pretty exciting announcements coming up soon, and you can try it out right away. And coming soon, we have a few that you may have heard of from the Ethereum community. So one of the ones we're really excited about is Curve Finance is going to be launching. They are a staple swap protocol, and they're not actually right now the largest DeFi protocol. That goes to the great team over at Aave, but they kind of trade back and forth as to which one has the largest TVL. That's going to unlock a lot of opportunities for users of Near and beyond. SushiSwap is launching as well. They are what I would call one of the more flexible DEXs. They are launching a new product called Trident that has a lot of different types of markets that you can launch. Very excited to see them coming over to Aurora. Dodo is another really good decentralized exchange that has unique mechanisms that enable sort of deep liquidity pools with a lot less assets, which is really fascinating. And tying them all together is Kyber. Kyber has what's called a distributed market maker, which essentially aggregates DEX trades, similar type product to 1inch, and can actually utilize all three of these to give users the best price for their trades. And there are quite a few announcements that will be coming out very, very soon. If you're interested in learning more and like keeping up to date with those, either give the Aurora team a follow, or if you follow us at Proximity 5, we'll also be keeping you up to date as well. All right, so that's the present. That's where we are today. That's where we're going to be over the next few weeks. I just want to take a brief moment here to sort of spin where we're going in the future, and not even that far of the future. So I think it's only going to be a matter of, a very short amount of time before we see billion-dollar protocol DAOs. This is like the DAO for Uniswap, for instance, already a billion-dollar protocol DAO. The DAO for SushiSwap, already there. We're going to see this on Near very, very soon. I think there's some teams that are building up this momentum pretty quickly. And what's going to be really interesting is when these DAOs actually start building products and utilizing products that allow them to act with each other like end users would act with these protocols. So imagine DAOs lending to each other. Imagine DAOs like doing swaps with each other, all trustlessly, all through smart contracts. As I've spun on a lot about how much I'm a fan of liquid staking, liquid staking is a small subset of a much larger idea called superfluid collateral. What this means is you basically have your asset in one place, and then you're able to use it in two or more other places. So the simplest example of that is that staking derivative, that stake near, where it's locked and staked in the network, but then you're using the stake near token in a lot of other protocols. And I think what's going to be really fascinating is we're going to see this being used across chains. So on Near, you're going to be able to use your assets that are currently locked in, say, Aave on Ethereum, on Polygon, BSC, or Avalanche, and then use that in maybe even Aave on Near, which is going to be really fascinating. Another team who's working on some really interesting projects, this is like basically what's called single-sided staking, which basically gives you some passive, low-risk income. I'm not going to touch too much on that one, but I think it's an exciting concept. Taking advantage of the unique scalability of Near, we're soon going to see order book-based decentralized exchanges. There are a few of these that are in the wild now on protocols like Solana and others. Near is definitely uniquely well-positioned to expand this offering. And we envision a world where you basically will be able to use these derivatives with interest-bearing assets as the collateral, which just improves your payout potential. And one of my favorite futures, and I think this is the future we're going with all stablecoins, is we're going to see derivative-backed stablecoins that will have perfect price stability. If anyone's interested in this concept, please come talk to me. I'm very bullish that this is actually going to play a major role in Near's stablecoin future and will be a very bright one. Now, let's walk through a quick scenario that I think is a really exciting illustration of the kind of flexibility that Near offers. So let's imagine that you earn some Near on NearCrowd, which is a great just kind of work for Near, do some work and earn Near, don't even have to buy it, wait to get onboarded, and has been actually providing a lot of people some interesting income. Earn some Near on NearCrowd, you then take that Near and you stake it in Metapool. So you're securing the network, but you also have this stake Near that you can now do something with. You then go over to Burrow, you deposit this stake Near as your collateral, and you borrow some DAI against it. And all of this is happening on native Near. Now is where it gets interesting. You take that DAI and you supply that DAI on Curve. Now, Curve is running on Aurora, but this is going to feel completely seamless. You're still all on Near, but it's as though you didn't go anywhere. But you're now using Curve, a completely different product designed for a completely different virtual machine. You get some 3-pool tokens, and you'll also be earning Curve as their native token. So your yield is just going up and up. And now, imagine that you take those 3-pool tokens, and you deploy them into, we'll call it Perp Chain, a decentralized exchange that's basically running as its own app chain using substrate-based app chain using Octopus. And you buy some leverage Near with this. So you basically have gone through all of these different environments, all running on Near, starting with some NEAR, you ended up now with a leveraged NEAR position, and you're basically earning a lot of tokens along the way by providing liquidity to different actors in the space. And all of this is happening on NEAR in 3 very different environments. This is the future that is actually not very far at all, and I think is very exciting and is not something that we see offered anywhere else. Now, taking a bit of a detour and talking about how we're at, like one of the many ways that we are going to build this future and get here. One of the things that we were really excited to talk about last week for the first time that Proximity is a big part of is this DeFi grants DAO. So the headline number is pretty exciting. 40 million NEAR, which depending on the day is worth, certainly not a small sum of money. What we're trying to do here is really just look for the top DeFi builders on any blockchain and work with them to build out great NEAR applications, because we believe NEAR is the best blockchain for this. We're targeting to distribute this over a period of about 4 years, but I actually think that this is something we can make even more sustainable, and that can be, a way that we can support teams for the long term, not even just give all of this money away. One of the things we're trying to do differently than other programs is, for us, the most important aspect of this is that it's community-led. We don't have a whole lot to share on this right now, unfortunately, but it's going to be a DAO from day one. There's no single party that's running this, and over time, the community is going to be involved in a big way. This is an important part of, we believe, to make this initiative sustainable and also to have the biggest impact. And if you're interested, please go ahead and apply. There's a little bit.ly link for you. If you're a builder, if you're just interested, if you want to learn more, go ahead and shoot us an application, and someone from the team will get back to you. All right, so that's what I've had for you guys today. Yeah, we're big believers that Nearvember is coming. And yeah, if you're interested in getting in touch with me or other people from the team, please go ahead and give us a follow or shoot us a message. Thanks, guys. I'll give you questions. If anyone has any questions, we have a little bit of time here, so happy to pass the mic around and answer anything. Oh, even better. Even better.
Hi. Super interesting. Can you go over Aurora? I'm just trying to figure out, you said you can use MetaMask. I guess it's an EVM compatible chain, right? If you could just expand on that, and also, what happened to the Rainbow Bridge? Is that still a thing, or?
Yeah, great question. So the Rainbow Bridge is still a thing. It's actually built or currently maintained by the Aurora team. So just to give more context on what Aurora is. So the easiest thing to think about is that Aurora is an EVM fully compatible environment that is running on the NEAR blockchain. So the ramifications of this, developers who have built, say, Curve, the Curve developers can basically change, one pretty small change. You change the RPC node that you're targeting, which would be the Aurora RPC node, deploy their smart contracts through that RPC node, so it'll end up being wrapped into a NEAR transaction, and then I'll actually be deployed into a smart contract that's running on NEAR. So I think what's actually one of the fascinating things about Aurora, which is complex, but we do think is really cool, is that Aurora is actually a Rust smart contract that is essentially executing EVM bytecode. And so this means that, yeah, anyone who's developed an EVM application can deploy it to Aurora, and then even probably more importantly and more excitingly, people can use that application using any sort of EVM-compatible wallet. So MetaMask, something via Wallet Connect, et cetera. You just have to kind of change, if you've ever used a different chain that's similar EVM-compatible, like Polygon or Avalanche, you kind of change the environment that you're targeting, and you just go ahead and use the application.
How easy is it for someone who's 100% into Solidity and they want to come over through Aurora? Because one of the biggest complaints I've heard from ETH developers is that they're just too lazy to learn Rust, right? So I'm just trying to get an idea, is it that simple? I mean, I did meet somebody here who's into pretty much everything, but they started as a Solidity dev and they're coming through the Aurora bridge. But can you just give us an idea how easy, or is it difficult? What's the learning curve there?
It couldn't be simpler. No, I mean, yeah, it really couldn't be simpler. You basically change one line in your deploy script, and it'll just work. And then for users, they have to bridge, right? It is a separate blockchain. So you have to say you have let's just say you have Ethereum on on Ethereum. You have Ether on Ethereum. You want to use say Sushi on Aurora. You use the Aurora bridge, which is really just the Rainbow bridge. It's just that it's specifically pointed at Aurora instead of pointed at native near. And you're basically sending Ethereum to the smart contract. The bridge sort of relayers work their magic, and they'll see that it was sent there. So that Ether will then be locked. They'll then basically mint new Ether on the near side to your account. It'll be your same account, so it'll be your same Ethereum address, 64-character address. And then you can just deposit it using MetaMask into Sushi. Now, the only step for the user there is that they'll have to change their environment to Aurora. Thankfully, MetaMask has made this really easy, and it's sort of just one click to add Aurora, and then they go use Sushi.
And to bridge back, is there a delay of 7 days, or is it instant, 10 minutes?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there is a delay. It's, I think, 4 to 8 hours right now. That's just, something that we do want to improve. There's a great opportunity for products there where you can, because it is sort of similar to an optimistic rollup, but with a much less latency. It's provable that those assets will eventually end up on that new chain. But there needs to be a time basically for someone to kind of challenge in case it was an invalid transfer. So there's a great product to be built there where you can have a fast withdrawal where you basically are just lending someone the asset for 4 to 8 hours, taking a small fee, and then they get it instantly. So we're working on that.
Super
soon.
cool. Thank you. Looking forward to this develop.
Oh, okay. So I guess just a shill for tomorrow. So we have a DeFi panel tomorrow with some great other teams from the Near ecosystem. Tri-Solaris is going to be there. Panther Protocol, I believe 1inch as well. So definitely tune in for that. I think it's around the same time, but check the schedule. Yeah. Cool. Any more questions? We've got about 5 minutes here. All right, looks like we got one over here.
Hi. Oh. Hello. Hi, Kendall. Hi. Huge fan. I'm just wondering how important you think it is in terms of cross-chain compatibility, right? So just going on from what that gentleman said, we've got the bridge to Aurora, and we're getting the bridge to BSC. How important do you think it is to bridge to all of the major layer ones?
Yeah, super important. I think cross-chain compatibility is really key. And not even just so that, we can get assets from all of these chains and have them be used in products on Near, but also so that the products built on Near that are native to Near can be used on these other chains. I guess yes, we want Near to to have its own really big, really mature ecosystem. But I think there's some fascinating products that are being built on other chains that are not as easily compatible with Near just yet. A big part of the initiative for Aurora and Octopus is, of course, to bring this to Near. And I think over the time, just about every product will be able to run natively on Near. But there are certainly markets and users that we want to attract on other chains. And yeah, I think that's extremely important. And cross-chain compatibility, good bridges, all of that is one of the most important things happening in crypto and DeFi right now. Cool. I think that's, right, that's it. And we got Sasha here. All right, thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kendall. I want to welcome up our last but not least speaker, Sasha Hudsolin. His name is Alexander as well. Many of you may know him from the work he's done in Human Guild as well as throughout Near Protocol. Sasha, here's your mic. The floor is yours.
And so,
Cool. So my name is Sasha, and I'm working in the Human Guild with Vlad. And so the first version of the slides I created was just a bunch of text and really boring. I sent it for Vlad to review, and he trashed it. So today I'm going to mostly do video It will be like very light on slides and a lot heavier on interactive content. And interactive content I'm going to show today will be games on Near. We're working today with roughly 25, 26 games. And we're going to show today the video that has a lot of them kind of showcased. So at Human Guild, we believe that every human can be rewarded for bringing their creations to the world through Web3. So you can think that essentially on the internet, like virtual world platforms like Roblox or Minecraft, in the last 10 years unleashed a lot of creativity, so that was a good thing. But they didn't actually enable people who create content to get paid. And so the big promise of Web3 is actually combine the creativity that we saw on the internet the last 10 years, but also with opportunity for the people who create those things to actually get paid. And so that's what we do at Human Guild. And quick slides for today would be why gaming is important for like Near, why we focus on gaming quite a bit, where gaming is today, selected showcase, that would be a video that combines a lot of games on Near, what we do and how you can actually get involved as well. So gaming is actually a huge market. At this point in time, it's at $150 billion. It's bigger than movies and music combined. And we believe that actually blockchain will be one of the next kind of technological platforms associated with this big market, although it's very early. So as you know, gaming started with arcades. People were playing arcades for a couple centuries, but the gaming-related arcades happened in early 70s. The big one was Atari's Pong. And we had consoles. There was a battle of consoles throughout 80s and 90s in countries like where I'm from. The battle was in 90s and 2000s. There was a delay. Then PC and single-player games came together throughout 90s. There were like big titles on that technological platform. And then internet happened. And so internet brought multiplayer, and internet brought complex economies, such as Ultima Online, World of Warcraft. And then we saw social, right, with Facebook. And we saw mobile with the free-to-play games. That was a new way to kind of experience games where people don't need to pay upfront, but the games are monetized through in-game currency, in-game purchases, or through ads. And so then you had blockchain. And so blockchain is very early trend for gaming. Blockchain gaming actually struggled quite a bit. The story of 2019, 2020, when I was talking to a lot of game studios in blockchain, was a story of struggle. It was very, very hard to actually get the game and publish it because it was very hard to fundraise. It was very hard to promote it. And so majority of the games throughout the cycle kind of didn't survive, actually. And everything changed kind of like this year with Axie succeeding. Actually, it opened up market for a lot of people. And so I think in the next 2-3 years, we're going to see a lot more complex games on chain, or partially on chain. Where gaming is today, so first of all, it's dominated by AAA games. So majority, 96% of Apple Store revenues are going to large studios. So indies don't get anything pretty much in this market. It's also large scale. So 2 games today have at least 1 billion players. And that's both actually Chinese games, both owned by Tencent. And 34 games have at least 100 million players in the world today. The biggest blockchain game is Axie. They're at quarter of the size, so there are 25 million players right now, which is huge for a blockchain, but in a grand scheme of things, it's still kind of peanuts for the gaming overall. And also, it's the best time to be in space because historically, being an indie game developer was very challenging. And right now, the state of the gaming is such that even if you're indie or mid-core or hardcore game developer, you actually can get funding. If you're a hardcore game developer, you go to Asia for funding. If you do mid-core, you go to US for funding. If you're indie, you actually go to Apple and Google for funding. And so it's actually really the best time to be in gaming is today. That's also why it's very hard to convince people to consider Web3, because given it's best time to be in gaming, also it's a huge opportunity cost to actually get people to consider the new technological platform. And also something to mention: PlayStation 5 is the fastest selling gaming console of all time. In terms of gaming, so we work with 25 or 26 games right now. Some of them are play-to-earn games. We have some gaming platforms. We have virtual worlds. We have trading cards. We have avatars, kind of like emergent category for Nier, at least. We have a lot of indies as well. So we go to game jams, we participate there, and we bring people who are curious about Web3 and build games together with them. We have privacy games. We have some of the more creative projects that are turning into games as well. And now I'll show the video that kind of showcases a lot of games. Yeah, so this is like actually really emotional for me because we've been working with this teams through like really hard times in 2019 and 2020. It's like really awesome to see some of this coming together. And now I'll slowly, very quickly go through like what we do at Human Guild. So at Human Guild, so our mission, as I mentioned, we want every human to be rewarded for bringing their creations to the world. And that could be musician, could be artist, could be game developer, could be game artist, could be somebody who designs digital fashion, could be like all kinds of people working in this like emerging metaverse. Early metric, we are actually tracking the number of Near earners across different applications on Near. So we have queries into every single application on Near, and the context for how people get paid in every application is very different. But we believe that the way to kind of build a sustainable economy on top of Near, a sustainable human activity on top of Near, is to focus on earners. And that's kind of like what we focus on today with like 2,500 people earning across all of the applications. We are at 900 people roughly in our Discord. We have much smaller than 900 people active community, obviously, because people have limited attention, but we hang out in virtual worlds, we get to know each other, we're trying to build this culture of helping each other as a community. And we also have DAO, so we don't actively market our DAO, we don't really advertise it because we do not want to bring people into our community who do things for like money. So, but we do tell people when we work with creative people that we do have this resource available to them, so you can always kind of like find out by talking to us about this. And also we have some content. So for people who are like more crypto curious, don't know where to start, we have podcasts. We're going to be developing our YouTube channel. We're going to be putting open sourcing essentially a lot of playbook for how to build games in incremental fashion with the community, how to tie economy back to the community, why DAO is important, how to launch token with DAOs, why on-chain raise is better a lot of times. So that's coming to YouTube. And then we're also producing some of the game dev focus content. So Near has really good content as it relates to general development experience at this point, but has close to nothing in terms of gaming content. And so if you're interested in building tutorials, anything related to different game engines or different kinds of games, different kinds of use cases, always we're really open to more and more people contributing there because we're definitely lacking still when it comes to the content, but we're building it. This year, we actually focused quite a lot on indie gaming market. So we sponsored a couple game jams. And we noticed that people have problems with exposure of their game, with monetization, with finding close collaborators across projects. Like artists working with game developers is a very, very challenging kind of like market, very hard to find collaborators across projects. And so we're trying to address those challenges. And the way we do it is through game jams, through cross-promotion on YouTube, starting to do more on that front. We had 14 games built in most recent game jam on Near. We had another 14 games built on Near Hackathon, actually. That was happening concurrently. And we had one of our projects recently raised close to $9 million. That's one of the gaming marketplaces focused on indie gaming and focusing on enabling tournaments and NFTs for indie game developer market. That's OP Games. And they're launching end of this year on Near as well. How can you get involved? So if you're curious, you can, in the mid-space, which is like here, you can meet us in our booth on the second floor. We're going to be there today, tomorrow. We're going to have a party today as well. We do monthly hangouts in the virtual space. We do weekly hangouts in the virtual space. We're doing monthly hangouts in the mid-space in San Francisco. And we're trying to actually encourage other people to start doing it in other cities in US for now. We're probably going to cover Portland, Seattle, and LA, but we're looking for people to help us do it in other cities. And online, you can find information, as I mentioned, on podcast applications as well as YouTube. And if you want to work us, you can join our Discord or talk to us about our DAO. That's it. And I can answer some questions too if you guys have any questions. No questions? Cool.
stone. My actions don't hear their voice. Laughingly with what you know. But the pain was inside. Let it all go. Let it all go.
Awesome. All righty. Hi, everyone. Hopefully today has been eventful. It's been packed with a ton of information, new friends, new opportunities to get to know Near a little bit better. Hopefully what you've gotten out of today is that from our conversations with our builders, Near is simple, scalable, and fast. It's really simple. It's that one-liner. A quick thing as well is hopefully you're also here and you have heard thus far is that we're doing a lot in funding. If you are a builder, if you're someone building something, thinking about building someone, have friends and you want to start a DAO, whatever it is, there's a lot we're doing in funding to support our ecosystem, as well as there's a ton of traction that we have. We talked about apps, we talked about a few builders on here as well, and not only that is that we've done so much on the ecosystem side of things. Today we had over 500 people here with us. That's amazing, y'all. Give it up for yourselves because that is so awesome to see everyone in 3D. We've moved from avatars and JPEGs and static pictures to being in person, and there's nothing like it at all. So I want to close out with the best chant that we can get. And so I'm going to come down here because I need to stare at you all a little bit because I feel like the more pressure you have, the louder you'll be for me. Alrighty, so the future is? Near. The future is?
Near.
The future is?
Near.
That was a little sad. I'm wondering, the future is?
Near.
Awesome. And we'll see you all for day 2 tomorrow. Peace, y'all.